Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you're interested in buying a home in the Villages and you're trying to get a good price, or you're trying to sell your home in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me at davidisinflorida@gmail.com. Be happy to answer any questions you have. Also, if you have any questions about life in the Villages itself, I'll be happy to answer those as well. There are three things I'd like to mention. First, make sure you check today's date. We produce this show every Monday. Make sure you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, all of this information is drawn from the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service. It does not include any information from the VLS, the Village's own internal listing service. For that reason, I recommend that if you are considering buying in the Villages, that you retain the services of two agents, a VLS agent so that you can see all properties on the VLS, and an MLS agent so that you can see all properties on the MLS. Without both agents, you will not see all the properties that are available here in the Villages. So let's turn our attention now to this week's report. We start by looking at the 10-year government bond yield. For those who follow this channel, you know that this yield most closely tracks the mortgage rate. And this week we are back up to over 3.5%. We were at under 0.4% year and a half ago. It's anybody's guess as to which way interest rates are going to go. But once again, I would caution you that if you're expecting interest rates to go down, it will probably be because the economy is weak, and I'm not sure that's a good outcome for anybody. If we look at the Village's real estate market, the number of listings this week is 339. Last week it was 352. Listings range in price from $189,000 to just under $2 million. And looking at this graph, we are seeing the total number of listings pause, if not decline. A closer look at all listings broken down by price segment. You can see that in the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, this week there are 214 listings. Last week there were 220. The week before there were 222. The week before 221, and the week before 216. Here's another way to look at the number of listings. This shows us the number of listings that have been on the market for more than 100 days. This week, there are 58 out of the 339 listings, which is 17%, down from the 18% last week. It doesn't seem like much of a change, but looking at this graph, you can see that the number of listings that have been on the market for more than 100 days has dropped dramatically from the beginning of March, when it was 22% of all listings. Here we look at the listing price per square foot for all listings. This week up very slightly to $260.17 from $259.94 last week. A very small increase, and the trend towards lower listing prices per square foot seems to be intact. This graph shows us the median time on the market for all listings. This week it's 46 days. Last week it was 44 days. After dropping for most of this year, it appears that the median time on the market for all listings has resumed its increase. Here we look at new listings and pending home sales. I've zoomed in on this graph to show you only the period from the beginning of the year. On this graph, the new listings are the blue bars and the pending home sales are the orange bars. And it appears that even though the number of new listings is decreasing, the number of homes that are going pending is increasing, which is encouraging for the market. This is a closer look at the new listings broken down by price segment. This last week saw 37 new listings, previous week saw 32. New listings over the last 7 days ranged in price from just under $295,000 to $1.6 million. In the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, there were 26 new listings. Last week 21, the week before 28, the week before 36, and the week before 35. Here we look at the last asking price per square foot on the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. $254.58 the number, up from $244.94 the previous week. And once again, the range of $240 to $255 seems to be where pending home sales are taking place. Looking at how long homes that went pending were on the market before going pending, over the last 7 days, that number is 39 days. Previous 7 days, it was 27 days. After dropping for most of the year, it does seem as if the pending time on the market is increasing again. This is an interesting graph. This shows us of the homes that went pending over the last 7 days, of which there were 39, 14 went pending within 7 days, which is 11%, down from the 33% of the previous week. This graph gives you some idea as to how enthusiastic buyers are. The higher the percentage, obviously, the quicker properties are being snapped up, and the lower the percentage, the longer they're languishing on the market. Here we look at the properties that went pending and what the price change was from the original listing price. A decrease of 5.47% is the median price change for the homes that went pending over the last 7 days, up from the 4.78% decrease that we saw the previous week. Once again, it appears as if sellers are having to reduce prices to attract buyers. This is a look at the number of properties that sold and closed over the last 7 days. They numbered 29. The previous week saw 40. Homes that sold and closed ranged in price from just under $175,000 to $1,175,000. And the number of sales after holding around 40 for most of March and April is back to under 30. Here we look at sales broken down by price segment. Once again, the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, the last 7 days saw 19 homes close. Previous 7, 22, previous 7, 23, previous 7, 21, and the 7 days prior to that, 22. This graph shows us the price per square foot realized on homes that closed over the last 7 days. 248, the number, down from $252 a square foot the week before. We still seem stuck in the 235 to 250 a square foot range. Looking at how long homes were on the market before they went pending and closed over the last 7 days, 27 days is the median time on the market for the properties that closed over the last 7 days, down from the 32 days that we saw last week. And once again, the median time on the market for sold properties is back in the 20 to 30-day range. Another look at sales. This time we look at the number of sales that were on the market for 7 days or less. Of the 29 sales, 5 were on the market for a week or less, which is 17%, down from the 25% of homes the previous week. This is another graph that seems to show buyer enthusiasm starting to wane. This is our look at what percentage of properties that are currently listed on the MLS have decreased their asking price from the original listing price, 56.64%, up very slightly from the 56.53% of last week. But just as with last week's number, this is now the highest number that we've seen so far. And looking at what percentage the decrease was. Of all the listings that have reduced their asking price, the median decrease is a 4.78% decrease, up very slightly from a 4.76% median decrease that we saw last week. That concludes this week's look at the Village's real estate market. If you're interested in buying a home and are trying to get a good price, or you're trying to sell your home and do it in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to help you buy a home or sell a home or answer any questions about life in the villages that you might have. Please feel free to reach out to me. Hope to hear from you. Take care.